So before we start this part, a bit of a heads up. So beware, I did use some spoilers from the manga, or to be precise only one. So remember I told you. Hello there guys, it's your Bakugo here, back in another video, and today I'm going to do What If Deku Was Abandoned, part 25, hope you enjoy it. So like always, a small recap is needed, but if you somehow missed last part, click an I button right here. And if you want another part of this series, 500 likes and I'll make it. And if you're new, subscribe. We are almost at 10k, so let's go for it. So last part, we covered Deku's final days in the hospital. In it, he talked with Ikshot about teaching him how to use ki. And after Ikshot suggested that he share his ki with him like he did with Nijire, Deku declined, but after Nijire and Ryuko come to see him, he revealed why. Sharing his ki with Nijire and only her symbolized that he's willing to share his life with her, and only her. So after that, Ikshot left, and he was temporarily stopped by some reporters. He answered their questions, then he left. And the one who took Ikshot's place was Hawks. And the second Deku saw him, he recognized him and he saw something familiar in his eyes. So after Nijiri and Ryuko left, Deku and him have a talk. And with it, Hawks realized that Deku is different. He'd been through a lot, just like him, and he will not go back to that life ever again. So after that, Deku was a bit bored, so he sparred with Hawks using swords. And with it, Hawks realized that Deku adapts really fast. After that, the Wild Pussycat and Koda come to see Deku. They talk, specifically they thank him for what he did. And Koda tell him that he's trying to become and be strong just like him. Deku on the other hand, stamp his foot and tell Koda to be better than him. So after they left, Nijiri, Aizawa and Izu come to see Deku and to see if he will accept the dorm system. Which he did, but with the one condition of making his room soundproof. So after that they left, and after that he was discharged, and in his way out, he was stopped by reporters asking him some questions, and Deku answered their questions and gave him a speech that shut them up. After that he went home with Nijire, she helped him pack his stuff, and you know what happened. And I think that's it with the summary, so let's begin. So last part, like I told you in the comment section, the pinned comment to be precise, I told you that I did not go into details of what happened or the aftermath of Deku's fight with All For One and everyone saw his memories. So last part I did say that Ryuko left Nijiri and Deku along because she had some work to do. Well, the work was to report the school. Not any school, Deku's middle school. Everyone knew that that school was a bad school in general. Sadly, they didn't have any concrete evidence. But now, everyone in the country knows that that school is bad. So when Ryuko was going to report it, she found out that some people already beat her to the punch. Not only civilians that believe in Deku, and there are some who try to make society better, but also the people that Deku saved and his co-workers. So in layman's term, that school is f***ed. And the teacher that do nothing while Deku was bullying, they got fired and they lost their teacher license. And for the kids that were bullying Deku, even though they cannot do anything against them, expel them or anything, but let's just say that their schools have really low tolerance for them. Meaning one slip up and they are gone. Plus some of them or majority of them were ostracized from everyone else. The same way they were doing to Deku. And now for the juicy part. The orphanage. Well, here's the thing. There was an orphanage there. You heard me right, it got shut down. And the people that work there are in deep trouble. And not only they let kids hurt each other or bullying against one another, they were neglecting some of them. So deep troubles. Yeah. And it's putting it mildly. So now let's go to Deku. It's next day and he just opened his eyes to see the ceiling of his house. Then he looked at the side and saw his baggage. Then he remembered what is going to happen. He sighed. He's going to miss this place. Then he felt something on top of him moving. He looked down and saw Nijire. Then he remembered what happened last night. No, not the good part. He's remembering the talk they had. Then he placed his hand on her head and he played with her hair a bit. And that was able to wake her up. Niji looked at him, smiled. Good morning. Good morning, Nijire. Sorry if I waked you up. She shook her head. Then he told her if she can move so he can get up. She told him after 5 more minutes. Deku can only chuckle at that. So he let her have her 5 minutes. Then he told her they need to get up. She asked why while panting a bit. This is our last day before we are going to the dorm system and I don't think they will let us out for a while. Plus, I did promise you a date. Nijiri thinks about it and yes, indeed, he did promise her one. So she got off him and Deku made breakfast for them. So after that they went on their date and a lot of people recognized Deku from the fight. He was going to brush them off but Nijiri told him to take it easy a bit. It's just what you did and your speech yesterday hit a lot of people in a good way. And like me and Ryuko told you, to say that out loud, live on TV, will take a lot of guts. And because of your past and how you turn out, people start to look up to you. Deku sighed and told her, yeah, I know, but I'm not that type of a guy. I don't want to bring people's hopes up for nothing. Nijiri hugged his arm tightly and tell him that she knows, but they are looking up to you because of what you're doing. They don't want you to change. Just keep doing what you're doing best. Deku closed his eyes, smiled, then he looked at Nijiri. You know, you always find the words to always cheer me up. Nijiri smiled and tell him that she's his girlfriend. Deku smiled and he whispered in her ear, you are going to keep the title of a girlfriend for only a few years. After that, you know what will happen. Right, my angel? And after she heard that, she blushed, then she smiled. She kissed him, then they went on with their date. And after that, with the help of Yue, Deku's staff were moved to his new room. But before they go to Yue, they pass by Ryuko's agency because Nijiri is going to see Ryuko whenever she have work study with her. But Deku will need to wait until he got his license. Or until Yue let loose a bit, because right now they are in high alert. Of course, Ryuko was happy to see him, but also a bit sad. Because she got used of Deku coming to see her whenever he can, so at very least like 3 times a week, but with the dorms he cannot do that anymore. So after staying there for a bit, they say their goodbyes, and every hero there tell him that they are waiting for him to get back with his license. So after that they went straight to Deku's work, because Deku did call his boss and tell him what's going to happen, so his boss told him to come back one last time to close his contract with them. So Deku obliged and Nijiri tagged along with him. So when they arrive, they are surprised by Deku's coworker doing a goodbye party. Deku was happy for that and told them they should have done that. His boss just walked up to him and told him to share it and enjoy the party, which he obliged. They cannot keep him for too long because he have to go back to UA. So after saying their goodbyes, Deku's boss approached Nijiri. Look, little miss, I appreciate that you are there for Izuku. Ever since he met you, he changed a lot. You helped him where we couldn't, so thank you for that. And I know, well, we all know that he have a bit of a temper and sometimes he will act on it. So please keep an eye out for him and make sure that he doesn't get in too much trouble. Nijiri smiled and tell them to not worry because she will, even if they didn't tell her. Deku was slightly annoyed, but he's not going to lie, she does sometimes keep him in line. So they say their final goodbyes and they made their way toward UA. And when they are a distance from UA, Deku saw something that just angers him. Nijiri saw that and asked him what's wrong. They're here. Deku replied with a voice full with rage. Nijiri only heard him use his voice only 4 times. When he's talking about Bakugo, when he's talking about All Might, or All for One, or his parents. We can remove All Might and Bakugo because they are inside UA, and for All for One he's in Tartarus in bad shape, so that leave only his parents. So she asked him why they are here. Don't know, don't care. Nijiri cannot see them yet because they are too far away, but remember, Deku can because of his sharp senses. So when they are in eye distance, Nijiri finally saw them and they are waiting. And when they saw Deku, they start walking toward him or rushing toward him. And like we saw in the anime, there is always some reporters in front of the gate. So they saw them. So they pointed the camera toward them. So the Midoriyas made their way toward Deku, and Deku angrily told them, what do you want and why are you here? Didn't I tell you last time to leave me alone? Please son, let us talk. But before they can finish the son part, Deku glared at them and his eyes turned blue. Finish the sentence and I will cut your head. I'm not your son. Your son died 5 years ago. So let us do all of us a favor and never speak to each other again. Deku started walking past them, but they stood in front of him. Deku is getting impatient. What? He growled. Please, Izuku, let's just talk. Deku started getting angry, but Nijiri squeezed his hand. He looked at her and she basically gave him a look that tell him, you will gain nothing by hurting them. Deku sighed and told them, you have 10 seconds, make it count. So they start apologizing for what they did to him and to give them a second chance of being his parents. Deku looked at them dead in the eyes and told them, you know, after what I've been through, I can sense when people are lying to me and try to use me, and you two are just doing that. So, I'm going to ask this one last time. What is the real reason that you're here? Then Deku opened his left hand because his right hand is being held by Nijire, and his parents know that he's going to kill them. He can't do it, and it looks like that he's going to do it. So they told him that a couple of days ago, his dad got a phone call from his boss, basically firing him. So after Deku's memories were basically live on TV, his boss saw that if he keep his father working for him, it will damage the company image. So even though he didn't technically fire him, he put him in an unlimited leave without pay. Deku chuckled a bit after hearing that. Well, you reap what you sow. You're not the only one who just lost his job, so tough luck. Deku was going to walk away, but his parents started begging even more, to the point of Deku just had enough. So he looked at them, then he smirked. Alright, I will give you another chance. Both his parents and Nijire's eyes widen. Really? Deku nod. But in one condition. You need to answer this question correctly. His parents nod, Deku just smirk. What is my favorite color? His parents were dumbstruck. What? You heard me. What is my favorite color? You are my parents. So if I am your son, and Deku was about to throw up when he said that, you should at the very least know that, right? So come on, answer me. His parents start looking at each other because they don't know anything about him. Really? You have nothing that could tell them? Especially you, Miss Midoriya. I spent 10 years living with you. Knowing my favorite color is the least thing that you can remember. She tried to remember, then she remembered that Deku was having some All Might's merch. So she tell him, red? Red? Deku started chuckling. Wrong. Nijiri already figured out what her boyfriend is doing, chime in and tell him, oh, can I answer? Deku smiled softly and tell her, sure. White, Nijiri replied. Correct. His parents, still in disbelief, ask him, white? Deku nod. I don't wear it a lot because it's a hassle to clean. But anyway, a deal is a deal. You lost. So, have a nice life, Midoriyas. And for your sake, let's hope that we never meet again. Then Deku starts walking toward the gate of UA and Nijiri is beside him. So when Deku locks eyes with the reporters, they move aside and let him pass. But midway through them, Deku stops and tells them, word of advice, leave the student of UA alone for a while. We have been through a lot. Then he looked at them, and trust me, the last thing that they need is getting a reminder of that. Then Deku and Nijiri enter UA. Deku's parents just stood there getting judged by the reporters, so they got up and started walking away. Nijiri looked at Deku and told him, you did the right thing, so don't worry. Deku sighed, yeah, I know, but trust me, if I haven't met you or Ryuko, I will be having their head because back then I had nothing to lose. I didn't even care about my life, so killing them was going to be my only option. But now, like Aizawa told me, I have a lot to live for, and by extension, a lot to lose. Then he looked at Nijire, and he smiled. And I will not let my temper get the better of me and lose them, or lose you. Nijire smiled, and they kissed. So after that, they made their way toward Deku's dorm, which he was greeted by his classmates and Aizawa. So Deku told them he's going to fix his room and Nijiri is going to help him. So while they are doing that, we switch perspective to Hawks. He just entered what it seems like a office and he's talking with some old geezers in a suit. I think they were in a hero committee, I don't remember the name correctly. Anyway, after he saw them, Hawks bow and told them that he did make contact with Izuku. Good, Hawks. So, what is your final say about him? He's a good kid, a powerful one, Hawks reply, ambition, and he know what he want. They give him a stern look and tell him, Hawks, you know what we mean. Is he a threat or not? Hawks got serious and tell them he can be a threat if you want him to be. They were shocked, so they tell him to explain. Well, you saw the fight. The kid is a hero in heart. He will do everything to save people. So in layman's term, he's on our side. But if you wrong him, that's on you. So like I told you, he's not a threat, as long as you don't make him one. So they breathed a sigh of relief, but they were still a bit anxious. Remember, the kid just beat All For One while he was holding back. And even after All For One took a quirk boost, he was still able to keep up and almost kill him. Sure, he died in the process, but still, that's a lot. So they ask him, what do you suggest, because you are the one who did contact with him? Just leave him be, Hawks reply, and don't mess with the people that he care about. That will be a mistake that you wish that you would never have done. So they gulped and they thank him for the information and they tell him to leave. Hawks nod and start walking away, but he starts thinking, Izuku, you are an interesting fella indeed. I cannot wait to see what you will do next. So let's go back to Yue. And after a while he finished with his room. The Nijiri tell him that she have to go to her room to change and take a shower. And I think I'm going to stay here with you. Deku smiled. It's not like I'm going to refuse. So she gave him a kiss and she left. And after a bit, Deku made his way downstairs. He saw everyone, and I mean everyone. So Bakugo is there. Deku just sighed. And he told him that he's going out for some air. And after a bit, Bakugo walked outside. Everyone kept looking at him. Ida was going to stop him, but Kirishima stopped him. And he shook his head. So Deku is standing outside until he heard Bakugo calling for him. Deku sighed. Damn it, it looked like that. Today I have to face off my past. What do you want, Bakugo? To talk. Deku laughed. The same crap the Midoriyas told me earlier. So make it quick. And 3, 2, 1, and Bakugo start apologizing. Look, Izuku, I'm sorry what I done to you. Not going to lie, I was a selfish brat. And in the time that I was expelled, I lived in your life. Or I know that I only saw a glimpse, but with only that I saw how much I hurt you, and I know I cannot do anything to fix that. The only thing that I can do is apologize. So I'm sorry for everything. Deku did not utter a word. Then he said, I guess even a bastard like you still have a little bit of humanity inside of you after all, huh? It's just took to see a glimpse of the hell that you put me through. So he sighed. Listen here carefully, Bakugo. I don't care if you experience my life, because that will not erase the 10 years of torture that you put me through. And trust me, I don't forget easily, and I don't forgive easily either. Then he created a sword of ki and pointed at Bakugo's neck. And if it was up to me, I will give you the same treatment that I gave All For One. Bakugo prepared himself to get his punishment, but suddenly Deku's ki sword vanished. Bakugo was surprised. What? Deku cut him off. Don't think this is mercy for me. I am absolutely done with you, and the reason I'm not having your head is because of Aizawa. For some godly reason, he haven't expelled you. Maybe he sees something that I don't. So let me tell you something. I trust the guy, and I will respect his wishes. So if he think he can fix you, I will let him. But remember this, if you ever use your quirk on someone innocent ever again, the next thing that people will see is your headless body, and with your head on the ground. Do I make myself clear? Bakugo nodded. They stood there for a bit, then Bakugo turned around and started walking to the dorm. Deku sighed. I just hope that you know what you're doing, Aizawa. Then Deku's phone started ringing, and Ace Nijiri he pick up and tell him to come to the dorms. Mirio and Tamaki want to see him. So Deku hung up and he made his way toward the 3rd year dorms, and when he arrived he was greeted by everyone because they know him. Actually they know him a bit better than 1A, you know, because of his time with Nijiri. So they expressed their amazement about Deku and what he did during his fight against All For One, and they scolded him a bit for going kamikaze on him. But unlike 1A, they knew that that was his only option. So how's the dorm? They asked him. Deku told them he just got here, so I don't know. Then Yu smirked. By the way, I did heard from Nijiri that you asked to make your room soundproof. I wonder why. She said that while looking at Nijiri, and that make the pair blush. And Deku told them it's not like that. Yeah, sure, she replied. No, Deku replied seriously, it's not because of that. So she got intrigued, so why? She asked him. You will find out after a second. Deku grabbed his phone and he called Momo. He put it on speaker and the second she picked up, they start hearing the noise. The girls are shouting at Minata and Kaminari, enough being perverts. Ida is shouting at them to stay quiet and keep following the rules, so basically they are loud. So Momo asked him what did he call. Deku told her not to worry about it and he will explain when he come back. Okay, she replied, and then she hung up. Then Deku locked eyes with them and tell them that's why. I know that they are loud, so that's why. Everyone started looking at each other. Oh, so that's why. But it's not like that you are going to use it for your advantage, Yu replied. Deku avoided her gaze. I have no comments. Everyone chuckled and Nijiri just blushed. Then Deku locked eyes with Mirio and he feels something weird about him. Mirio saw that and asked him, is something wrong, buddy? Nothing, I hope. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I can eat. So they offer him to join them. They are going to start cooking right now, so just wait for a bit. Need the hand, Deku reply. They are surprised. You can cook? And Nijiri perk up and tell him not only he can cook, he's a great cook. Deku smiled and thanked her for the compliment. So Deku made his way toward the kitchen with whoever is going to cook this time. Meantime, Nijiri is sitting with the girls. One of them is Yu. Then she tells Nijiri quite bluntly that she hit the jackpot with him. Izuku, she mean. Nijiri raised an eyebrow, so Yuya explained, well, think about it. He's the strongest human alive without a quirk. Hands down. He's a genius at strategy, and even though he seems cold, he cares about you and he's quite protective of you. Last, like you told me before, he's good at housekeeping. And on top of that, he can cook. And the last two attributes, not a lot of guys can do that. And sadly, I am one of them. Anyway. Plus, his actions already speak that he's a hero through and through. Niji looked toward the kitchen and she saw Deku cooking. She smiled and told her, yeah, I think you're right. I am lucky to have him. And by the way, Niji, prepare yourself to get some jealous stares from basically every girl on campus. For the reason I just mentioned. Nijiri pant a bit and told them they can try. But before she can say anything else, she felt someone hugging her from the back. And it's a familiar hug. It's Deku. So she looked behind her. Deku smiled and he kissed her and tell her, don't worry, even the strongest villain on the world will not be able to separate you from me. Nijiri blushed and tell him, you heard? Deku give her a look. Alright, super hearing. Then Deku hugged her tightly. Then he jokingly said, Nijiri, always remember this. You are stuck with me for the rest of your life. Nijiri blushed and the girl started giggling at the sight of them. So Deku headed back to finish his cooking. Meanwhile, Yu started teasing Nijiri about what Deku just told her. Then she jokingly told her that he need to get permission from your parents if he need to keep you for the rest of your life. Nijiri blushed and that led to her revealing that Deku technically already did. So after that they had dinner, with everyone praising Deku's cooking, and after chilling a bit, it's getting pretty late, so Deku started making his way toward his dorm. When he entered, they asked him where he was, mainly Momo, so he told them what just happened, so don't worry about me, I already had dinner. Then Mina perked up, so you cook for them? Deku nodded. Why did you not invite me? Deku just shrugged. Then Momo approached him and asked him about the call earlier, so he explained why, and Momo can only chuckle, well, you're kinda right. And good thinking of making your room soundproof. Always thinking ahead. I expected nothing less from you. Deku just smirked. So he made his way toward his room. So while he's preparing for bed, he heard a knock on his window. It's Nijiri, so he opened and she flies in. What are you doing here? He asked her. What, did you forget? She replied. I told you that I'm going to sleep here. Deku chuckled. Sorry, I forgot. So he lied down and she jumps on him and they cuddle. So fast forward to next day, Deku wake up early like he used to do, and like he used to, he let Nijiri sleep more just for the day because she need to start training with him. So after his morning routine, he headed back toward the dorm and he was met up with Aizawa. Mr. Aizawa, good morning. Morning to you too, Izuku. You're right on time because I was going to call everyone here. Why? He asked him. You will see. So after calling for everyone, Aizawa told them that they need to start training because they are going to do the test to get their provisional license. Usually first years will not be able to participate, but because of the recent events, it looked like that you guys need them. Everyone was happy and they start cheering. Aizawa told them to shut it because it's too early. Then he turned around and locked eyes with Deku. He nodded and Deku nodded back. Then someone started going down the stairs, and she's not from class 1A, Nijiri. She asked, why are you guys so noisy? It's too early. Everyone was surprised to see her because she wasn't there yesterday. Maybe she snuck in. Then they remembered that she can fly. And Mineta being Mineta, he started drooling over her. He started commenting, but before he can finish, he was wrapped with a scarf of ki similar to Aizawa. Then Deku tell him, finish the sentence and I will squeeze you like a grape. He gets scared and he starts nodding rapidly. Deku let go of him and everyone just commented that Deku just resembles Aizawa right now. And Deku thanks them for the compliment and he made his way toward Nijiri. She was still a bit sleepy, so she launched on him with a hug. Still tired? He asked her. She shook her head. Good, so let me make you breakfast and we can start training. She nods, and since he's going to make it anyway, he made everyone breakfast. And yes, that includes Bakugo. When he gave him his share or his plate, he put it in front of him and tell him, don't let it get cold. And he walks away. So everyone made their way toward the field where they can train, but Deku and Nijiri went to a different place. Since his training is going to be about ki, he decided to stay away from everyone. So when they arrived at the field, Nijiri was surprised to see someone already there. Shinso. She asked him what he's doing here. Well, I'm training with Izuku. I guess so are you? She nods. Wait, for how long have you been training with him? I think after a week or two? Since I told him about the therapist, Deku tell him it's my way of saying thanks for helping me, plus you're a good guy, and since you need to talk to your opponent to use your quirk, I decide to help you a bit. Shinso thank him once again, so Deku start telling Nijiri that you already know the basics, plus you already have a feeling for your ki, because of my technique. You just need to remember how it feels and bring it out. Because I think that you have a lot of ki inside of you, because of your previous training. What training? She asked him. Your quirk training? Your quirk use vitality, aka ki, and your shockwaves are pretty powerful. Plus, when I use my technique on you, during the fight, you were way more powerful than I thought you will become. So the power is already inside of you. You just need to reach it and let it out. She nods, and that was her routine for the next week. So here I'm going to do the same thing that Aizawa did with Shinso in the anime. Aizawa took him 9 years to figure out how he can use his scarf. And in a matter of months, I think, he taught Shinso how to use it. So since Deku only took him 1 year to be able to let out his ki or reach it, so I think in a week Nijiri is able to tap into it somewhat and she's able to float. Deku is impressed. Only 1 week and she's able to do that. Nijiri smiled and tell him, well, you are a great teacher. And you are a great student. They smile at each other, then Shinso tell them, guys, I'm still here, so get a room. And that make the pair blush. Then one day, Deku was stopped by Mirio. He asked him if they can spar. Sure, why not? It's been a while since we fought. And of course Tamaki and Nijiri are there, so they go in their positions and they start fighting with Deku clearly having the upper hand. Remember, this Deku is different from last time they fought, he's stronger. And when Mirio saw that, he told to himself, damn, Izuku is getting stronger by the day. Well, I guess it's my turn to use my trump card. Then Deku saw something familiar happening to Mirio. Pink veins start surrounding his body. Deku's eyes widen. It can't be. Then the veins vanish and yellow electricity starts surrounding him. Electricity extremely similar to Bakugo, plus now he can feel it. Deku is feeling the same energy that he felt from Bakugo in the sport festival. There is no way. Then he started putting the pieces together, a quirk that can be passed down from person to person. So that's what he meant, huh? And by the way, if you don't catch on already, Mirio have one for all. And because of his body size and everything, I would say that he can use 60% of one for all, and he can push it to 70 in short bursts. So when he saw that, Deku grinned his teeth, and he powered up to 30% of limit break. So they clash, and it seems they are equal, but Mirio is getting the edge in this power struggle. So Deku cranked it up to 40%, and he started pushing back Mirio. And that pushed Mirio to start using his real quirk. Even though Deku is fast and strong, he cannot hit him. So Deku had enough and power up to 50%. Both Tamaki and Nijiri are surprised. Deku is going serious, plus Mirio is going toe-to-toe with him. How did Mirio become this strong? So with this power increase, Deku is having the edge on this fight, plus with his arsenal of techniques, he was able to blind Mirio temporarily. Then he delivered a fierce gut punch that knocked the wind out of him. Then he slammed him against the ground. Mirio slowly gets up, knocked out from his full cowling, and declared that Deku won. Deku powered down, but he's still serious. He approached Mirio and whispered into his ear, "We need to talk about this quirk that you got from Bakugo." Mirio was shocked. He just nodded. So both Tamaki and Nijiri approached them, and they asked Mirio how did he become this strong. He lied and told them training, and even though Deku knew the truth, he kept his mouth shut because it's not his secret. So later that day, Mirio called Deku and told him to come to the meeting room, which he did, and when he entered, he saw All Might, Gran Torino, and Mirio waiting for him. And when he saw All Might, he was a bit upset, but he kept his mouth shut, so he sat down, and after awkward silence, Deku told them, "So, care to explain about the quirk that Mirio have, that Bakugo had before him?" Both Gran Torino and All Might are shocked. They looked at each other and nod. So they explain what is one for all and how it's passed down from generation to generation. Okay, so All for One have a history with your quirk, and you defeated him, am I right? All Might nod. Deku started thinking and he tell him, "And let me guess, that happened almost 6 years ago, right?" All Might nod, and since he's at it, he revealed his injury to Deku. "And after this injury, I wasn't able to hold my form for longer than few hours a day. So that's what I was trying to tell you, young Izuku. I did not try to mock you, I was just out of time." And then Deku cut him off. "And you didn't want a kid to know your secret, right?" All Might nod. Deku started thinking, then he sighed. "Get up." "What?" "I said get up, All Might." All Might was surprised. It's the first time that Deku called him All Might, not a buff clown. So he get up, Deku do the same and start walking toward him. Then Deku slap him. Everyone was surprised. Then they could deliver a gut punch toward All Might that make him sit back on his seat, or the couch to be precise. What are you doing? They ask him. Even though I know the reason you did it, Deku reply, that doesn't mean it was alright to do it. You were my idol and you just mocked me. Plus you are quirkless just like me. So you mocking me was almost like a punch in the gut. And the slap was because you are a damn hypocrite. You forgot that you are quirkless. You know my pain and you mocked me for having a dream. I understand, young Izuku. I'm sorry. Please yeah, I heard already. All Might, listen to me carefully, because I'm going to say this once. I forgive you, but I will never forget. I see. Thanks, All Might replied. So can you tell me something? Yeah? Why is your quirk is killing Mirio? Everyone is surprised. He's what? You heard me. For some reason, One For All is killing Mirio. Then he looked at Mirio. Your soul is unstable, and by my estimate, you still have only a few months to live. Are you certain? Gran Torino asked him. Deku nodded. Sadly, I am. Ever since my fight with All For One, I started to learn how to sense ki from other people, and Mirio's ki is unstable. So can you answer me? All Might started thinking, then he remembered something. It could be... What? He asked him. Then All Might told him what happened to the 4th user. He died at 40 years old, from old age. But how? Deku asked him. You are the 8th user, right? All Might nodded. So the power will grow each time a person uses it. Can't be right, you use the power for almost 40 years yourself. So what's different between you and the 4th user? All Might started thinking, then Deku told him, remember every detail about him. What did he have that you didn't? What did you have that he didn't? Then it hit All Might. He had a quirk. I'm quirkless. He had a quirk. Deku started thinking and thinking. Then it hit him. So that's it, huh? They tell him to explain, and Deku told them, imagine the body almost like a cup, and the quirk that you built in is the liquid or whatever is inside of it. Workless people like me and All Might, we don't have a liquid in. So that's why when you get One For All, you are able to use it like your own quirk. But since Mirio have a quirk, his cup is already full, meaning his soul is already full. So with adding One For All, it's overflowing and it's killing him. So they start thinking of ideas on how to save Mirio, then it hit Gran Torino. Wait, if Mirio cannot use One For All because he have a quirk, we just need to give it to a quirkless person, a person that we can trust. Then All Might tell him, but we don't have a quirkless kid that we... Young Izuku, no, Deku reply. What? You heard me. No, I will not take your quirk. I will not be Bakugo Slappy second. But this is Mirio's life we're talking about. I know, Deku reply, and I have another solution. What? They ask him. If your body and soul cannot handle your quirk, we just need to make them stronger. You need to learn how to use ki, Mirio. What? They ask him. Deku nod. You see, ki is a mix between a physical strength and a spiritual strength, but it's mostly spiritual. That's why when One took the bodies of the previous user of ki, they were nowhere near the strong when they were alive. It's because the body was not linked to the soul. But I'm getting out of track. Mirio, if you want to survive, you need to start training with me how to use ki. So what do you say? Mirio smiled and tell him, of course I will join you. Deku smirked. That's good to hear. So see ya tomorrow, 6 sharp. Don't be late or I can't get you myself. Mirio nod and Deku tell them, I think that's it. They nod and Deku start heading toward the door. Then Mirio stop him. But wait, don't you have any method or anything that will help me with this ki? Deku shook his head. Sorry, but there is no shortcuts in ki. But I can tell you one thing. An evil smirk creep on Deku's face. Welcome to hell, and I hope that you will survive. Then Deku walked out, and I think I'm going to stop it right here. So what do you think of it, guys? Will Mirio be able to use ki? How long it will take him? Same goes for Nijiri and Shinso. What will happen next? Leave your thoughts in comments down below, and if you enjoyed the video, you know the drill, 500 likes and I'll upload another part. And if you're new, subscribe, there is more videos like this coming, and like always guys, peace.